Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth.
And danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings.
Sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds.
And done 100 things you have not dreamed of.
These are the voyages of the starship Erebus. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Hey, can everybody hear me? There we go. Now it's working. Hold on. Over here, we go to here. All right. It wouldn't be a DerWolfDenGaming game unless we have some technical difficulties right off the rip. So welcome everyone to much anticipated, not too long overdue, because we are on schedule. Session 2 of our Star Trek adventures, Star Trek Erebus, that's what it is. I'm going to say it wrong the entire season, and probably every single season, but it's fine. Erebus, and joining me today is the crew of the Erebus. They have recently gone through a wormhole and shown up in a brand new galaxy to explore strange new worlds and meet strange new species, including, I guess, Federation adjacent species. It was a strange first episode, but we had a lot of fun. But as is tradition in all of our games, we are going to quickly go around the table, have everyone introduce themselves, remind us what character they're playing, and then today's opening log is from none other than the captain himself, which I'm very excited. He was going to send it to me before so I could read it, and he said, F it, we'll do it live. And I can't wait, because I'm going to be surprised as well. But without further ado, let's go around the table. We're going to go Matthew, Aaron, Drew, Schmandy, and then wrap it up with C4A.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew. I play the civilian science consultant Shas Chethane, who is an Andorian, but due to some genetic tinkering in his in utero, he is sort of expressing Enar genes. So he is blind and sees through a kind of telepathic sixth sense.
Nice. And I'm Aaron. I'm playing Captain Ezra Shruth. He's an actual Andorian that has working eyes and see. I'm kidding. He's just a regular old blue Andorian. He doesn't have any cool powers. He's also not particularly cool himself, but he's kind of a nice guy, and he's hopefully going to be an okay captain.
All right, Drew Baca.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Fitz. He is the android chief engineer.
Mandy.
I am Schmandy. I am playing Lieutenant Phelan, the security officer and former warrior of the Klingon Empire.
And I am C4A, and I am playing Lieutenant Commander Stern, the CMO, the human CMO, and let's go.
All right. Of course, I am DerWolf, the Game Master. As always, excited to be here. And without further ado, Aaron, Captain, get away.
Captain's log, stardate 87550.05. Though our voyage through the wormhole was ultimately a successful one, it was very nearly disastrous. A dimensional temporal event caused multiple instances of the ship to exist in the same time-space, destroying countless variants of the Erebus and trapping most of the crews in crystalline formations. With some exceptional work by the crew that escaped the event, we were able to return each instance of the Erebus to its correct point in time-space and in the correct dimension. I have noted their individual contributions in their service jackets. Now that we are where and when we intended to be, our true mission can begin. We are en route to a pair of Class M planets orbiting a yellow dwarf star. Both seem to be home to sentient life. One civilization seems to have discovered an early variant of warp travel. What interests me most is the debris field between the two worlds and the pseudo-religious messages we have begun to receive. It is invaluable to study this opportunity, and it is my hope that this mission and the rest of our journey yields scientific and anthropological discoveries that keep the brightest minds in the Federation busy for decades. But today the work begins. End log.
And as the log ends, I fade out the peaceful harp. Fade it out. Gone now. There's no more peaceful harp. And we open our first scene with the classic swoosh, the TNG swoosh. And we see the captain, the first officer, and who else would be on the bridge of the Erebus as you are just about to enter into this particular solar system with this yellow dwarf star and these two circling Class M planets. Who would be on the bridge today?
I have to think that Thane would be, considering his role.
Very good. Very good, very good. So we have Thane, we have the first officer, we have the captain, and go ahead.
I'd be up there. Why
You're
not?
up there as well. What about the security officer?
I believe he'd be wanting to assess the tactical situation.
I like it. I like it. So we see the crew, and as our camera sort of pans in to the bridge, we get a glimpse of everyone hard at work, consoles glowing. We have the view screen up in front of you, and we see this sort of this edge view of this galaxy, this burning bright hot yellow, sort of that lens flare on the view screen. And then what you see is you see these two rather large planets. Think Earth size, maybe 3 times Earth size. So they're very, very large planets, but you can see large blue oceans. You can see huge continents. These, as the camera sort of zooms in, your view screen zooms in. But what is most interesting is that there is this ring that seems to be in the same sort of orbit as these two planets. This large ring of space debris. On first glance, with the naked eye, you would think that this space debris might be an asteroid belt. But your previous scans have discovered that this debris, this supposed asteroid belt, is actually composed of, well, alloys. Looks like maybe ship material or satellites, perhaps even weapons, bombs. You're not exactly sure. You'd have to get closer to scan. But as you guys are looking at this, there is a signal, a subspace signal, actually, that is pulsing out, and the communications officer looks over from his console and says, "Sir, I've picked up the signal, the one that we had on long-range scans. It's the same message, sir. It seems like it might be a recording. It's repeating itself, sir. Something about the prophetess keep you? Service is the key to the afterlife. And it just repeats, sir, over and over."
Shas, can you get a fix on its location?
I'll endeavor to do so, Captain. And can I make a scan to try to localize the source of that communication?
You absolutely may. Go ahead and give us a control science. Give us a difficulty 0. Give you guys some momentum up front.
Since there's supposed to be reason science, but that's okay.
You can do reason science. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever you
It's
want.
actually, I think it's like the same for me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're so picky constantly. Look at you and your whole 1 momentum. Wow. Look at you. You're so great at your job. All right. Maybe if you had real eyes, you could do something. But anyway, I digress. All right. So,
Okay.
we're swinging
that's just
today.
like ableist, but all right.
We're just swinging today. We're coming hard swinging. So as you are...
Even with that big star, you're still managing to cast shade.
Yikes. Oh, man. So Ulrich leans back, and he's sitting in the first officer's chair, and he leans back. He looks up. He actually looks up to the security officer. He looks up to you, sir. And he looks up, and he just kind of does this thing where he leans back, looks straight up at you, so that you're looking down over it. Think like the TNG. You see that? He's looking down. He's just looking up at you, and he just grins at you. He's like, "Hey, how's your day going so far?"
Does something amuse you, sir?
Lots of things amuse me. You mean presently, in this exact moment?
Yes.
If I said yes, would that answer your question? He's just like very mischievous grin on his face.
Perhaps you would care to enlighten me as to why you are looking at me with amusement at this particular moment.
Because before this mission is over, I'm going to make you laugh. Promise. Maybe not today.
We shall see.
Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not in a year. Before the mission is done, you're going to laugh.
I will take that as a challenge. What do you say we place a wager on it?
Name your price.
Loser must do double PT for a month.
2 months.
Bargained and done.
He reaches up to shake your hand. Leans forward, looks over the captain. Sucker. All right, so for your check, Shaz, you had scanned and you had succeeded. And so you also have a free question. So I'm going to tell you what you discover. Then obviously you have additional questions. You get your free question as well. But what you discover is that there are actually multiple locations where this signal is coming from. There appears to be in the debris field, this huge circle, there appears to be roughly 100, basically, buoys. All of them playing the same sort of signal, this repeating signal over and over. Prophetess keep you, service is the key to the afterlife, etc. It's repeating, and they seem to be placed in equidistance in this huge ring. And again, you're talking thousands and thousands of miles, right? You know, hundreds of thousands of miles, because it's a huge ring. But this debris is literally huge. Yes, Drubaka, David Bowie. David Bowie, that's hilarious. So yes, but you see this ring, this circle. And again, I want you to imagine that there's the two, it almost looks like atoms is the best way to describe it. So you have like your nucleus in the center of the atom, and then you got your photons spinning around, and you can see the little lines, and like this line of debris, it's something like that. It's been a long time since science, all right, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're imagining together, and I'm not a scientist. I'm a math guy. But anyway, so you see this, you see these two globes, right? And you see this debris, and it almost kind of looks like the debris is like connecting them, and you can see them slowly circling around the star, right? Just to give you a vision of what you're seeing here, right? People on the streets.
Well, Captain, and his antennae are sort of like undulating slightly as if he's frustrated. It's actually impossible to localize any single source for the transmission. It's in fact coming from a series of buoys that are littered throughout the debris field that we detected in orbit, along with the two planetoids. I think it goes without saying, of course, that this orientation for a star system is completely contrary to our understanding of stellar formation. The two planets shouldn't be in the same orbital plane and field. But as to the signal, perhaps some sort of religious propaganda?
It seems likely, but still odd. At that distance, you think one planet would be able to broadcast directly to another?
Tactical officer, do you have anything to add, perhaps, from your perspective regarding the weapons that might have been used to create this debris field, the composition and amount of debris?
Let me say security, possibly, to see if I can figure out what kind of weapons might have been used here.
How about a reason security?
All right, reason.
Difficulty 0. I'll give you guys some momentum. We'll see if you're better than the blind guy.
I'm sure that he will be.
2d20.
Correct.
Yeah.
There it is. Yep. Double is good. There it is. Up to 3 momentum. So you're picking up a bunch of different types of debris and basically radiant energy. All right. I want to be very specific when I say energy. what you're seeing as you scan some of this debris, some of this space wreckage, I want you to think to yourself, it's like a space Hulk graveyard. There's some large ships, there's some small ships, lots of small ships. Think like maybe it's like a shuttle size, lots and lots, hundreds if not thousands of shuttle size ships. And there's a couple of ships that are maybe about half as big as the Erebus. Nothing as big as it though. And what you pick up is a lot of basically nuclear fallout. Like most of these pieces, most of this space debris is highly irradiated. And I'm talking like, modern day nuclear weapons, what you're seeing. Okay?
It seems, sir, that the vessels involved in this conflict were fighting without restraint. They were deploying nuclear weapons at a very high frequency. It is likely we may find the same on the 2 planets.
You also find evidence, I'm going to add this, I want to give this to you as well, of projectile weapons. So you can see shredding, tearing, as you use the scanners to maybe analyze a couple specific pieces. You can see where there's like metal has been torn and shred. There's not a lot of burn marks. The burn marks that you quote unquote see are melting, like they were literally irradiated and melted, turned to slag, right? So it's either projectiles or they nuked each other. That's what you're seeing.
It's possible that this was initially done with crude primitive ballistics and spiraled out of control. If I may, sir, this does appear to have been, as we can see, a battlefield. It is entirely possible that there may still be active threats within the debris, such as, for example, old discarded mines. If we do approach, I suggest we do so with our shields up.
With the seeming level of technology here, I would imagine that our navigational deflectors would be able to handle any weapon discharge or nuclear blast, but very well security. Yellow alert, shields up.
Yellow alert goes live. You see the just light flashing yellow lights. The shields are raised, of course. And I'd like to pivot down into... I'd like to pivot all the way down into the medical bay. And Lieutenant Commander Stern, it's been probably about 2 weeks. Let's call it 2 weeks since you guys got into this system. Pretty routine days, nothing of great note other than the Federation, a couple of reports you've probably had to file. It's a quiet day, I'm going to say. It's been a quiet day in the medical bay. No one's been hurt, no bumped knees, no bruised elbows, no, burned hands from conduits overheating. It's been good. The ship's running very smoothly, right? What would you be doing with your quote-unquote free time? What does she do when there's not a medical emergency? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, if she's still on duty, she would... If everything... She would have reorganized everything. Make sure all supplies are stocked and just prepared for anything. She's had to tell off the... oh gosh, is it a Gorn medical officer?
Dr. Harak.
Yeah, she's had to call him off a few times from gnawing on something she doesn't want to know. And she'll currently be in her office, just kind of swinging in her chair side to side, just reading whatever latest novel on her datapad.
What's the novel about?
It is a
Gorn with the Wind.
That's actually pretty good.
That's on her TBR list, yeah, but she'll never tell anyone.
That's actually pretty good. I don't hate that.
Nah, it's a mystery, and it's like something to do with a tribal captain that no one can see.
Ooh, I love it.
There's a Klingon running around that claims that the tribble captain is in charge, but no one believes them. So he's like kind of getting gaslit. So she's just trying to solve this mystery along with the Klingon.
I love it. I
Mystery
absolutely.
of Captain Puff.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
The doors of the medical bay, as you are just getting to a part, you're probably like deep into this novel, right? You're just getting to the part you're pretty sure there's going to be a big reveal about, what's going on, the mystery, when you hear the doors of the medical bay open and you hear someone really almost come running in, and you can hear this kind of heavy breathing, and they sound frantic, almost scared.
Will this be happening before the yellow alert?
This happens seconds after the yellow alert.
Okay,
All
so that will get her attention first.
Yes, I love that. So she gets attention, doors open, and in comes running one of the science officers, a Lieutenant Tassoni is her name. Tassoni. Not unlike the electronic equipment. But she is a half Vulcan, half human science officer. She is someone you've probably seen in passing, but not really, how to put this. You recognize her, but she also looks unfamiliar, is the best way I can describe her. You recognize her, but she looks unfamiliar. It's a strange sensation. She comes in, she sort of stumbles in, comes running, she's breathing heavy, trying to sort of calm herself down. She's shaking visibly. And as soon as she sees you, she stands up straight, draws in a deep breath. Doctor?
Lieutenant?
I am in need of medical attention, I believe. What is it that humans call it? I believe I am having a panic, an attack of panic. Ma'am, sir. You can see she's struggling to try and keep herself calm.
Stern will have grabbed a handheld scanner and, not touching the lieutenant, will guide her, just gesture to a bio bed, have her sit down, like one that's away from the rest of the main area.
You move her over. She follows. Her movements are at times somewhat rigid and at other times very fluid, almost as though she is uncertain of how to walk in her own body. It's strange. And she moves over and she sort of leans against the medical bed for a moment, and then perhaps you tell her to get up on it, and she seems confused for a second, and then turns and then picks herself up and then plops down and kind of pats the bed with her hands, and then you can see her right hand is just ever so slightly shaking, her left hand completely still.
How long have you been feeling like this, Lieutenant?
Doctor, I thought it was just a few hours or so, Doctor. I thought it might have been something I ate, perhaps indigestion. But it has become increasingly... She sort of chews the word in her mouth for a moment. Increasingly distressing, sir.
She'll be running the scanner over her to check for any other symptoms besides high anxiety.
Yeah, give me a reason science.
Not reason medicine?
That's what I meant. Medicine. It's the medical sciences, is what I said.
Yeah.
You can't prove
Medicine
otherwise.
is science.
We'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it. Reason medicine. Forgive me.
Triage is a focus?
I would not say triage in this one. I wouldn't say triage. What other focuses do you have?
Toxicology, emergency medicine, xenobiology.
I'd go with xenobiology on this one. You're human. She's an alien, right? Half alien, at least.
She's half Vulcan. What's her other half?
Human.
Oh, okay.
All right. So with that, difficulty in this was a 2. You got 0 successes. That
Need
is
to
unfortunate.
recalibrate the scanner.
That is unfortunate. So here's what I'll tell you. You scan her, and as you scan her, she seems completely fine. You don't pick up anything. Not a thing. Now, you could spend a determination to re-roll those, or you could just roll with it. Both are interesting.
I don't really have any values that could help me roll determination.
It's all right. Roll with it then. You're not sure what's up. You're not sure.
If this is a matter of control, Lieutenant, you are in a safe space. There is no need to control yourself. You are fine. You may relax here.
As you mentioned the word relax, he's sitting on the medical bed. You've got a little bit of metal on the side. You've got the soft mattress. So metal on the side, soft mattress, right? Her hand grips the metal part, and you hear this slight bending and compressing of the metal. Now, I'm going to give this one to you for free. Vulcans are strong. They're not usually that strong. As you see her, maybe about 2 centimeters, a decent amount, bend that part of the bed. Safe? Doctor, you say that we are safe? How can we be safe, Doctor? We are apart, alone in an unknown galaxy, with no one to save us, save ourselves. Soon, Doctor. Soon. And she starts to lean forward towards you, right hand gripping the metal.
I don't move.
Left hand reaching forward until she has her hand on your uniform, grabs a bit of the cloth and sort of pulls you down towards you. Soon, Doctor, we all start going crazy.
This could go very badly. Okay, I'm going to, oh boy, try to grab her wrist with one hand, and the other one, I'm going to smack her and try to snap her out of this. I know this could go so badly.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do presence medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty of 3.
Do we have any momentum?
So much momentum.
Please.
I've had it.
We have 3 points.
Presence medicine. Yeah, give me, I don't know. How much does
3 would give you 4 dice.
Oh, I don't want to take all of it.
I mean, it's there to
Go
use.
ahead.
It's there to use.
Give it to me.
Give me that. Give me that.
Give it.
Sweet, sweet momentum.
Please. Once again, I'm leaning towards xenobiology again.
How about emergency medicine?
That's fine too. Snap out of it. Oh, please.
There we go.
There it is.
But
You grab
roll
her
2 dice.
hand. You only roll 2, so
did.
roll the other 2. So just roll it again. Roll the other 2, because you're succeeding. We'll just see if you get extra momentum back, which would be great. Or get some complications, which would be great. So you grab her hand.
Yes.
We wait for you to roll the other 2 dice. I'm excited. That was a really good roll, by the way. Good job.
2 more dice.
Fantastic. Oh, get the momentum right back! Savage. You grab the hand. You slowly pull it back. She resists for a moment. And then you just haul off. Like, you grab with this hand and you haul off and just whack!
Yeah.
Her face goes from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
She slowly turns to you. Vulcan eyebrow raise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Doctor. That was surprisingly hopeful. I believe it wise to have me, for the time being, Doctor, confined to quarters, sir.
Consider yourself quarantined in your quarters.
Yes, sir.
I will take you off the duty roster with your superior.
Thank you, sir. I will focus on meditation and introspection. Sir.
Lieutenant, before you go, did you notice anyone else you've been in contact with during your shift today exhibiting the same symptoms?
She thinks for a moment. I believe, yes, Doctor, there was another of our... On second thought, no, Doctor, there was no one. I think it was my mind playing tricks on me, sir.
Who does your mind believe the other... Oh, what's the word? Officer was?
That is the thing, sir. It was not an officer. It was one of the civilian crew.
Mm.
I believe their name is Shaz, sir.
Duly noted. Go on to your quarters.
Right away, sir. And she stands and very smoothly, very Vulcan-like, sort of not marches, but just proceeds out of the medical bay and moves on. I'm going to give the scene to you for just a few more moments. Do you alert anyone? Do you contact anyone? What's the battle plan?
I do send a report to whoever her commanding officer is that she's been removed from duty, effective immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I will message or call Shaz.
Ooh, Shaz, you're on the bridge. You're hanging out, and we're going to pivot over to you for a moment. This is right before you get this message. All right. Now you sort of see the future, right? Like that's how you see like kind of see the future. You don't actually see. You kind of like see without seeing. Is that right?
Not really. It's just like you get a psionic impression of the environment around you.
Yeah. Well,
but if you want to make me see the future with my telepathy, I'm not going to stop you.
I mean, by the future, I mean like the next 1 second. But anyway, so you see like a psionic vision of your surroundings. You can see the people, etc. And you psionically feel like someone's standing behind you. Like you can almost feel like this kind of like hot breath on your neck, sort of breathing down on you. And you hear this very faint but audible, very faint but audible sort of whispered, like someone's trying to speak to you, but they're in a box in another room and they have a owl over their mouth is what they're trying to talk to you. But you can just barely be like, you just hear this kind of whispering. And you're getting like an emotional feeling that this person is really upset with you. Think like when you disappointed your parents and you're like, oh man, I disappointed my mom. It's like they're not mad at you, the parents are disappointed at you. That's the feeling you're getting right now. Proceed.
So I guess there's almost like a quiver in the antenna. There's this sense of discerning this presence behind him that they automatically swivel towards it, and then he looks over his shoulder, just on like a kind of almost childish instinct. Mm-hmm. Then turns to the security chief. Chief, is there something wrong with the comm system?
No, sir. Nothing. Why?
That was actually Schmandy, but...
Oh, I thought you said the comms chief.
No, the security chief, because he handles communication.
Yeah, go ahead, Schmandy. It's up to you.
Security, yes. I have not noted any malfunctions in communications, but I will have my team make a check.
Well, then what's that damn whispering?
Whispering?
Can't hear
I'm
it?
not hearing any whisper.
And he's actually going to go silent and try to strain to hear it and make it out.
Nothing. Presence is gone. No whispering. Nothing. And then your comm badge beeps, and Lieutenant Commander's turn.
Medical bay to Shaz.
And sort of like torn for a moment between the security chief, with whom he's already having a conversation, and his comm badge, he'll sort of hold up a hand towards the chief. My apologies. And he'll tap his comm badge. Yes, Doctor?
Well, okay, out of character. We're still on yellow alert, right?
Correct.
Okay. At your earliest convenience and when it is appropriate, I would require to see you down in the sick bay.
And he sort of rubs at his temples. Doctor, I assure you that my headaches are not compromising my ability to perform my duties.
I did not ask. Shaz.
Ooh.
Stern out.
There is a soft chuckle from the first officer, and he leans over to the captain and he whispers, "I like her. She's got fire. Panache, you know, right?"
Shas, maybe you should go and see what that's all about.
I would prefer not to, Captain, considering what we're encountering here. I think that would be unwise.
How so? You just claim to be experiencing audible hallucinations.
It remains to be established that they're any kind of hallucination. I might have just heard something from behind the comm panel and mistaken it for voices.
If I may, Lieutenant Phelan, I believe I had something for this. Mr. Cathane, I was not asking.
Officially, Captain, I am not under your command. If you want to have me removed from the bridge, you may do so.
First officer pivots its chair over and just looks at the captain like,
"This is a
what is
Starfleet
with you
mission,
biologics
Doctor.
testing the size of each other's penises?"
I have been told that mine is adequate.
I'm surprised that for a machine you're quite so crass.
All right, everybody.
So glad I'm not on the bridge.
I think a little decorum is required at this point. Shas, this is a Starfleet mission. When you signed on as part of the Daystrom Institute's contribution to that mission, you agreed to abide by my authority. I ask you to do so now.
I suppose you'll just strong-arm me off the bridge if I decline, so I have no recourse but to obey your suggestion. And he'll stand up and simply march off the bridge.
And he'll just, like, one of the other, like, blue uniformed officers, he'll just gesture him to the science station.
Science officer goes over, sits down at the science station. The first officer does this thing where he looks back up, looking at the security chief upside down, and goes, "Just adequate?" And then he tuts.
My wife has had no complaints.
He giggles.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Oh, Captain. Captain, this is going to be a great.
Nor has your
sir.
mom.
Whoa!
Live from the medical bay.
I'm going to, now that we're into mom joke territory, I'm going to allow this.
Brilliant.
I did not have a mother. What would you say about my mother?
That she was a toaster.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so as the bridge just completely devolves into childish antics.
That's not in character. I'm just gonna mash the self-destruct button now.
All right, good game, everybody.
Save us all a bit.
Great
of
season. All right, so Shaz, we're gonna follow you for a moment. You step onto the turbo lift, and as soon as you step onto the turbo lift, you start to feel very, very lightheaded and very dizzy. And that whispering starts to kick in again. You start to hear this like weird, strange sort of whispering again. And that same sort of disappointment, and you can feel this yearning to want to make someone. It's a strange feeling. You're yearning to want to like be a good kid. The best way to describe it. And what do you do with that?
Yeah, I think focusing on his value, my work is my shield against my family.
Yeah.
He's just going to descend into a recollection of the sensor data that he was recording from the survey of the star system, and try to basically, I guess, just recall meaningless facts as like a memory exercise to try to drown out the voice of a disapproving parent, which was incredibly familiar to him as a child.
This is gonna be weird. We're gonna do presence science. Kind of a weird check. This just feels right to me.
I like this weird check.
Give me a difficulty of 3.
All right.
Yeah. Coming for you.
Yeah. Would anyone mind if I roll a third die?
No, please.
I
Take it.
Go for it.
Fail.
And would telepathy as a focus actually apply here? Because I assume that I'm under some kind of psionic assault.
Absolutely.
Hey.
You got it. So you managed to repress. And what I'm also going to give you, as you repress this and the whispering slowly stops, there's something about... More weird checks, please. I got you, Drill. We'll do more weird checks. There's something about the sensor data that you are... As you are, like, mentally recalling it, maybe even have, like, a data pad or something. I don't know if you can, like, psychically see what's on the data pad, but I digress. We'll figure it out. We'll just assume you can. So you are recalling all this data, all this information, and there's something about the way in which those 100 or so buoys were located. It reminds you of like a mathematical formula. Right? Like it reminds you of, you can't quite place what formula it is, but it reminds you of like, there's something mathematically significant about where they are, how far apart they are. There's something significant about it. You're not exactly sure what it is, but there's something in your head that's like, wait a minute. That's weird. Something weird about that. And your brain starts to turn. Continue.
Then I suppose as the tribalist stops at the deck on which sickbay is located, he's going to tap his comm badge and contact Lieutenant Commander Flitz, and just pass that on and say, there's something unusual about the orientation of the communication buoys. I don't know what, but you may wish to investigate it, and you'd be best equipped to do so, Commander.
I will indeed. And he goes straight to it, like...
And then stumbling ever so slightly, because I imagine that his vision is going to be affected by this as well, considering he's going lightheaded and the psionic assault is interfering with his telepathy in some way, in all likelihood. He'll gradually make his way down, occasionally, almost in an embarrassed fashion, bracing himself against the wall to sickbay.
All right. So you're going to move on. We're going to go to you and the doctor here in a little bit, but I'd like to go back to the bridge. Captain, so the chief science person, because he's not an officer, chief science person has been removed. You have one of the other blue shirts sitting in his chair right now.
I mean, the captain also has a science of 4, so...
You're the captain. You just stay in your lane, okay? So, which is all lanes, apparently, so it's good. Yeah, but you are...
except engineering. It's an engineering one.
Fair enough, yeah. So you are, you're there, and you know, ship's getting ready to probably proceed closer.
Sorry, can you use surgery, Captain?
Oh, no.
All right. But, Lieutenant Commander Flitz, you've just received information that apparently the way in which these things are designed, like, what it is, it's the distance of each buoy seems to, like, if you were to, like, turn it into, like, Morse code, not Morse code, it's almost like it almost, like, correlates to, like, binary. Like, the distances are, like, equal, so it's, like, zeros and ones. Like, if you measure them, you'd be like, okay, that's the same distance, that's the same distance, and then it's just, like, something in your head starts to tell you, like, wait a minute, like, so that would be, like, those two are equidistant, that's either 0 or 1, and then the others are equidistant, and it's like mathematically interesting. It's the best way I can describe it. So I hope I'm making sense.
No, it's cool.
Right.
I will perform an analysis on it.
Cool. So you will begin this analysis. I'm going to have you give us a reason engineering difficulty 2. What happens?
I will take use of one of our momentum if that's all right with everyone.
I don't hate it. And I'm going to take use of it. It's really hot in my office right now.
Okay. Can I use my focus of Starship Computer Systems?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yes, before no.
All right. Hold on.
David Bowie. Drillion. Stop trying to make David Bowie happen.
I started it.
That's pretty good.
Thanks. Okay. I'm also going to use my technical expertise, which lets me re-roll 1d20.
Love it.
When I'm assisted by the ship's computer.
Done. Who wants to roll ship's computers?
And I get 1 automatic success on all tasks using reason.
Goddamn. You're amazing.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Sometimes he just wakes up and this is failure.
Oh.
Nice. Fantastic. Somebody roll this. All right, you know what? I'll roll the ship's computer.
I'm sorry, I should be laughing.
This
That
computer
was
what?
amazing.
Okay. When where is it? When I or an ally fails a task, you may add 1 point to the group's momentum pool. So
you haven't failed yet because no one rolled the ship's computer. Someone's got to roll the ship's computer still.
Air doesn't.
Assists from the ship don't count if you don't get any successes of your
Oh,
own.
that's true.
I do get a success.
You got 1 success for free.
Ah, true.
Is that because of augmented ability control?
Oh, wait. I get to re-roll once.
That's good. You should do that. Is that because of augmented ability control, though? Because that does increase your complication range.
No.
Okay.
Backup plans.
Okay. I was going to say, because then you have 3 failures, which would be amazing.
Yeah. I'm using backup plans, technical expertise, and positronic brain.
All right, I'll allow it. Because I have to, because it's the rules. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Reason.
What was the ship rolling?
Yeah, computers and what?
Computers engineering.
Oh. Ship always rolls with a focus.
Yikes.
Nothing.
All right, you got success. That is a success. You did get your successes. No complications. 2 things. You realize that if you were to extrapolate the distances, starting from one of the planets. So imagine there is a ring of debris that is in the orbit of the 2 planets, right? There's a ring of debris. Okay. On the other side, there is a similar amount of debris, and then there is, say, 50 in the one, 50 in the other, right? Okay, of these buoys. Each of them, if you were to break it down into the mathematical binary, if you were to translate it from like binary into math, like into numbers, right? Which is all it is. It creates the formula e to pi I plus 1 equals 0. Now, your positronic brain would know this formula is a formula that back on Earth is known as God's formula. E to pi imaginary plus 1 equals 0. Your brain thinks about the data, thinks about the information, and you know that it's surprisingly simple. And that's what makes it beautiful. That's like what people say about it. Surprisingly simple, but what makes it beautiful. It's almost like these buoys have been set up with this weird repeating thing about the Prophetess and service and afterlife. It almost kind of looks like mathematical art if you were to try and analyze it. It's the best way I can describe it. Continue with that information.
I will inform the captain. Captain, I've done a analysis of the buoy's positions as recommended to me by Mr. Sass, and I've found that it correlates to the God equation, as I believe the humans call it. E to the pi r plus, or pi I plus 1 equals 0. It's quite lovely, honestly.
Also known as Euler's identity, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
The conversion of an irrational number into an absolute. Fascinating. Hypothesis on why, Mr. Flitz?
I imagine it's something religious.
It could be a memorial to the ones killed in battle. After all, religious ceremony often does come before and after military conflicts in most cultures.
GM, I would like to use the command console on the captain's chair to access the ship's sensors. I want to scan the debris field and perform a metallurgical analysis to find out how old the oldest parts of the debris field are and how old the buoys are by comparison.
I love it. Let's do I believe that would be, what is that, reason science? Difficulty of 1. Pretty simple check. There's a little bit of radiation, so that's why I'm giving it not a 0, but pretty simple. And the ship may assist you if you'd like. Computer science.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reason science. I'm going to do 2d20.
Perfect.
There we go.
The oldest material in the debris field is over 5,000 years old. The most recent material in the debris field, this is Earth years, is roughly 50 Earth years old. And it is the buoys themselves. Most recent. There's a couple of smatterings of ships here and there, but yeah, 5,000 years old.
Okay. So 5,000 is the oldest, but how old are the buoys?
50 years.
Okay.
Very, very new, comparatively.
Portions of this debris field are ancient. They predate any spacefaring civilization in the Federation. We'll catalog that. And in the meantime, we'll continue to head for the planet.
Which of the 2 planets?
The one that has achieved the rudimentary warp travel.
As you feel the ship ever so slightly start to move towards that, Lieutenant Phelan. Lieutenant Phelan, your console lights up. You've always got active, sensors on, of course. Console lights up, and you are picking up a small ship, maybe a runabout size, larger than your standard, shuttle, but you're picking up a small ship. No life signs right away. You would have to scan for that, make a directed scan, but you're picking up a small ship, and you realize that based on its trajectory, it seems that it is heading towards the less developed, the more industrial, developed planet And the reason you probably didn't see it is because it was hiding, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, not sure, but it was likely hidden by some of the ambient radiation inside of the debris field. But it is moving, maybe warp 2. It's moving pretty slow, but it's moving. Yeah.
Captain, I've detected contact, a small unknown vessel moving towards the secondary planet of warp 2. We can prepare a firing solution in just a few seconds.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Lieutenant, but I don't think that will be necessary. Please hail them.
Very well. I will attempt to hail the unknown ship.
Yeah. You attempt to open communications. Broadcast goes out. You see the ship is moving pretty quickly, right? Comes to a complete stop. There's no immediate response. The ship then slowly turns and exits the debris field and slowly starts to make its way towards a direction of the Erebus. A minute goes by. Minutes go by. And it stops. It's, outside of this debris donut. It's probably, you're looking at it, maybe like a ruler on the view screen. It's a decent ways away. It stops. And you get an audio only simple response. Prophetess, keep and guide you. Remember, service is the only way into the afterlife. It sounds like a female voice, if you were to describe it. And the comm is still open, but that is all that this person, recording robot, you're not sure. That's all that this voice says to you up front.
Well, then he'll go into the spiel, I guess. Unknown ship. This is Captain Ezra Shruth of the Federation Starship Enterprise. I'm not the Enterprise. We're not the Enterprise.
Yeah,
we're
the
not
Erebus.
That important. It's We're definitely not the Federation Starship Erebus. We're on a peaceful mission of exploration and have come to your planet to seek knowledge of your people.
Silence. 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 Then the same voice, but less sagely, I would describe her voice up front, and more longing, maybe even a little bit sad. My name is Novut, Captain. Priestess Novut. I believe I am the last of my people, the Arni. You are bid welcome. Welcome to the graveyard. I ask only that you treat it with respect, Captain.
Of course, Priestess. Is there anything that you require? Would you wish to come aboard?
Silence. 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 You say, Captain, that you come in peace.
Yes.
Promises of peace. Promises of peace for the Arni have often been precursors of death. What assurance do you have that I the last of the shepherds can trust you.
Our mission is to seek out new life and learn. We hold all life sacred, and violence for our people is used only as a last resort when we have no other choice.
Give me a presence command. Difficulty of 2.
Okay.
What are your focuses?
I've got a focus in diplomacy.
Done. Love that journey for you.
Okay. Presence command.
Momentum?
Oh, definitely. Just checking my talents here. You know what? I think we're going to leverage I think we're going to leverage pointed determination, Wolf, if I can.
Ooh, you absolutely may, and I love that journey for you.
I'm going to tap my value. Let's see what's out there for an immediate 2 successes.
Love it.
And we'll just go ahead and roll my presence command.
Let's get after it.
Pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Okay, well, none, but it was a difficulty 2 check, right?
Yes, it was.
So I just need to roll a challenge die. 1 plus effect, so I get that
determination right
determination
back.
right back.
Oh, baby bird! Nicely done, sir. That's why you the captain. That's why you the captain. And you know what? The voice again. Silent, silent. And finally, there is an image, a video, along with the voice. You see a blue-looking alien. Her skin sort of looks like it's almost kind of scaly. There are these white lines that come up, almost like they kind of look like a tree, like almost like, was it Yggdrasil? Kind of the tree symbol kind of thing coming up on her head. Her eyes are these kind of soft grays, and there's a pupil, and there's like almost like 2 irises around. And then her ears are ever so slightly pointed. She has very deep, dark, kind of like black outlines around her eyes. Her eyebrows look like they are simply raised sort of like skin, like almost like hardened skin. And she has these dark, kind of like almost black looking lips. All right. But she has a very calm, very sort of stoic expression, very sagely. She is dressed in white robes that have the same sort of symbol on her forehead, but they are etched up and black around. And she dips her head. It has been so long, Captain, since I have been aboard any other ships than my own, let alone sat with another. I am not quick to judge, as the Prophetess teaches us not to be quick. Trust. We must not be quick to trust or judge, so I choose instead, Captain, to trust you.
Then I will provide coordinates for our shuttle bay, and you may board at your leisure.
Prophetess bless you, Captain. regardless of your next actions, peace be with you and your crew. And there's a moment of silence, and you see her sort of look away from you as though she's looking at something that is just off to her, just off to her left. You see her nod her head as though she's acknowledging something, and then she looks back and gives you this very weak, almost kind of forced, like she wants to smile but hasn't in so long. And then she dips her head, and the communication ends.
I want to give, if we can, C4A and Matthew some time with theirs,
Yep.
but the captain is going to let Lieutenant Commander Stern know that we have a visitor coming aboard, and to, just as a precaution, prep for quarantine.
Mr. Captain, are we... is this yellow alert still required?
There are some lingering concerns over the ambient radiation level, so for the moment, yes.
Understood.
And I think that'd be a great moment for none other than Shaz to walk in to the medical bay, as it were.
Stern is directing some of her staff to be prepping for possible quarantine as he's coming in.
Yes, doctor. Of course, doctor. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, doctor.
So I think that Shas stumbles slightly into the medical bay, but you can see that he's trying to maintain his composure, and it's just for a moment before he kind of steels himself, rights himself, and tries to stride in confidently towards the doctor. Nods in her direction. Doctor, I believe that you were correct to summon me to sickbay. I believe that I'm experiencing some form of emotional instability, and...
Proceed.
If I may, Matthew.
Yes.
I want to, as the game master, give you something, let you run with it.
Okay.
You're starting to feel very similar to the way I described a certain lieutenant earlier. Panicked, nervous, and the weight of the situation you're in, if you felt any fear, even if you felt the slightest itty bitty should I really do this, that has been multiplied by a factor of 1,000. All right, you play with that as you see fit, as intensely or as not intense as you want. It is yours to run with. We'll see where this goes.
Okay. And the headaches are getting worse.
Take a seat.
Do you think that it's the lingering scarring from the ocular implants that's starting to affect me worse, and perhaps it will take away the psionics again, as it did when I was young?
I don't know what it is yet. Take a seat.
And he looks around the medical bay almost wildly. Where?
Right here's fine. She'll gesture to the closest bed.
And he'll stagger towards it.
And she's hands behind him,
yeah, just slumping down on the chair, and he's gazing down at the floor in this sort of moment of existential angst.
And we'll run a tricorder over him.
I don't want to be in the dark again.
I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that.
Reason medicine difficulty 2.
You can't do anything. It was the doctors that did it to me in the first place.
Try me. What is happening? What the hell? Oh. What'd you say, Wolf?
Reason medicine difficulty 2. You have 1 momentum if you want to spend it. And xenobiology would work.
Yes, I would like that momentum, please. That gives me a 3rd die.
By the way, Matthew, you're doing a great job with my directions. Well done. They were horrible, and you're making it work. I appreciate you.
Gives me a 3rd die?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, dear.
Okay.
Oh! Coming through in the clutch, doctor! Let's friggin' go, dude!
Damn, C4.
That's 3 momentum back.
Smack the crap out of
All right. C4A, you recalibrated Dr. Stern, Commander Dr. Stern. Dr. Commander Stern. You recalibrated that medical scanner. You were absolutely right. When you smacked it, it must have smacked that medical scanner back to friggin' functioning, dude. Fantastic. Amazing. Yeah, so here's the thing. He has, right now, super high raised, is it cortisol, the stress hormone? I'm not a doctor. Cortisol.
So.
Like, they are off the charts, okay? Simultaneously, the part of his brain that effectively controls his psychic abilities is, for lack of a better phrase, hyper-inflamed. It's like working on overdrive. So I want you to imagine like a car engine. It's running. Pistons are doing the thing. Little explosions inside is doing its thing, right? And it's just going crazy. All right? To the point where, like, if you don't shut it down, it could break itself. Like, it's almost running too hard. Like that little red part on your car engine where you're not supposed to drive it that hard, that he's like peaking right there. Okay. Right?
I would recommend a mild sedative.
Do you take the hypo spray? So have you picked up the hyper spray?
Right now I'm walking him through the steps that I would recommend. Okay. But I can.
I'm just wondering what you're doing physically as you say that.
Oh, okay. I am, since you're a touch telepath or just
doesn't have to touch anything. No, it's
okay. So I'm still holding the tricorder, and I'm explaining what I'll be doing before I do anything. That is her strict policy. Unless extenuating circumstances, there are no surprises from her. Okay. So mild sedative, and you shall quarantine in your quarters unless you would be more comfortable here in one of the private rooms.
GM, I would like to wager something with you. To introduce a complication, using my value, the Federation can do better than Starfleet. To exacerbate his existing anxiety in exchange for point of determination.
Done.
Okay. As you say that, you see he tenses and he smacks your hand away violently, rising to his feet. You want to lock me away again, is that it? Lock me away, just like Mother in my room. Take away my sight, me. And he's actually advancing on her. He's going to grab hold of her suit, her uniform. I'm not going to let you do it again.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. It's just me, Shaz.
And he shoves her away and is going to turn and storm out of the sickbay.
Would any of the other medical personnel seen this and or stepped in to help?
You know what?
Yeah. Who all is there?
If you'd like me to have medical personnel step in, give the order. There's several nurses.
Doctor.
I would assume they would take that initiative.
Yeah. Okay. So Nurse Gorn is going to show up, which I believe is Schmandy's character, right?
Attempt to grab hold of him to keep him from leaving.
Love it.
And so I will have a sedative now that I've collected myself.
And that is Nurse
Dr. Harak.
Dr. Harak. Love it.
He's not going to fight you or try to strike you, and that's very deliberate. He looks like he wants to, but he refrains. However, he is going to try to wrench free from your grasp.
Okay, so this be like opposed fitness, maybe?
I think opposed daring security.
Daring security is what it is.
Daring security.
Let's go.
Get it.
There's no way that I can win this.
Get it.
I'm scared.
I'm excited.
Dice.
No!
The dice have a story to tell.
Dice do have a story to tell.
Oh, come on.
You only rolled one die, though.
Oh, well, then let me roll another one. Daring security. Whoops.
In a world.
That's a good idea, Drew. I could lock the doors.
You absolutely
Try it
could.
again. Hiya!
There it
Hiya!
is.
1-to-1.
1-to-1.
I like it.
Woo! All right. So
Locking
you
horns.
guys would effectively kind of like bounce off each other. I want you to imagine that he's storming off. The Gorn is like, hiss, grr, I'm a Gorn. Pivots around, right? And goes to grab him, but they kind of just scuffle, and then it's a deadlock. All right? Scary Gorn.
Yeah.
All right?
I'm just like, right. Dr. Hawk is just right here in his face with big, huge compound eyes. Calm down.
Is that enough of a distraction for me to sedate him?
Absolutely, you can go for the sedation. I think,
Okay.
unless Matthew wants to argue.
Yeah, unless you
I
want to
think
get
it
away.
makes sense. Like
I
maybe
mean,
it was
you could
enough to
spend
distract.
threat and let me win.
Oh, I
But,
could.
No, go ahead. You can make that that check to knock
Go
me
for it.
unconscious.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna spend
Okay.
2 threat to increase the difficulty. Normally a 2 to a 3.
Okay.
We're gonna add a little interestingness to this.
Okay. Be like,
Happy second episode, everyone. We've already gotten to the PvP stage. Let's go.
daring medicine since they're in a
Yes,
fight.
absolutely.
Okay.
Love this.
All right. Do we have any momentum left?
You have 3.
Yeah, you got 3 momentum on that task you completed.
And I forgot what the difficulty was.
It's normally a 2. I've spent 2 threat to make it a 3.
Why don't you roll 4
Okay.
dice? Why don't you burn all 3 of those momentum?
Yeah, go for it.
Ah.
Okay.
Or you can spend a point of determination and just hope for 1 success.
I'm reading my talents really quick to see if I can have any more edge.
While that's happening,
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I do.
I think telepathically, because his sort of psionics are so, I guess, warped by the inflammation of his brain, I think he'd probably be like broadcasting, right? The feelings, the anxiety, the tension out towards the people around him.
Love that.
Just 3 momentum right
So
back.
the Gorn, you're starting to feel hungry. Best way I can describe it.
Oof.
Doctor, you're starting to feel. What would you say is her like default demeanor or attitude? How does she normally feel?
Like when not in a state of crisis,
Yeah.
or I mean, I'd say she's just alert always.
Very alert.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're normally just very alert, not
Mhm.
angry, not upset. You
Mhm.
are hyper alert. You know that feeling when you're going through a forest at night and you kind of feel like something's watching you, like
Shut
that
up.
weird, like you're just like it just your adrenaline's rushing. Like you have like a crazy adrenaline rush right now, and everyone in the medical bay is starting to just be like look just nervous, sweaty, clammy
Mhm.
hands, and with each passing moment. All of you feel these intense emotions exacerbating, like they're getting worse. Cut to a scene, real briefly, outside the ship, of a certain shuttle getting closer to the ship,
Oh
but
boy.
back inside. Just throwing that out there. It's probably nothing, all right? But, it's all good. And so you've rolled this check. You sedate him. Now, here's my question, Doctor. Were you trying to knock him out? Just calm him down.
I had originally said mild sedation, but when he started to fight, I was going to up the dose.
Cool. All right. Here's what happens. You give him enough, and you can stop me if I'm wrong. You give him enough to knock out a horse. Like you want him to go to sleep, is what I'm hearing from you, Doctor.
Matthew, do you want to be completely out, or do you just want to calm down?
Matthew?
I think you'd knock me out, but
Knock him out? Okay.
Okay.
Wolf
So we're
is
going to
gonna-
knock him out, all right? Okay.
Cool.
You give him enough to knock him out.
Mm.
Matthew, Shaz, you just feel normal. All the emotion, all the craziness, all the stress, the fear of your mother, the parents being in darkness again is gone. Doctor, you give him this, he should be on the floor drooling,
Hmm.
and instead his shoulders relax. Matthew, take it from there.
Thank God.
And he just sort of like touches the spot on his neck where he's been injected. I think that was a prudent decision, Doctor. Thank you.
Sorry, quick GM. Have the symptoms for the rest of us abated, or are we still feeling?
Yes.
Okay.
And he looks up at this massive Gorn that probably outstrips him by about 2 feet. Sorry?
Yes, it seems you are experiencing some sort of mental discomfort. Harak recommends extracting the brain.
I think that would be counterproductive.
Nice.
Thank
you,
not a
Dr.
doctor of
Harak.
medicine.
Harak will excuse Harak's self and skitters off.
I like Harak already. He's gonna be a DM favorite. I want to see more of him. He's amazing.
We're gonna Harak around the clock.
Oh, we're gonna do it. So he is
easy being green.
He's taking a breath, and I think I want to pivot away from this scene now, if it's all right. I think it's a good time to pivot. So we're gonna pivot over, and we watch an exterior shot of the ship. We see this shuttle approach. We see docking clamps connect. Who is going to be greeting the alien? Who's going to be greeting our alien friend? That is what I'd like to know. Who's going to be there to say, "Hey, Ms. Alien, how you doing?"
I mean, I think this is like, first contact. I think the captain would want to be there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Security.
I would require Lieutenant Phelan to accompany me.
Yes.
I would extend the invitation to Lieutenant Commander Flitz.
Yeah.
I was going to volunteer.
Mm-hmm. And I would like, if possible, for both Dr. Cathane and Commander Stern to join me as well. So everybody,
if you guys are all feeling up to it, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
I love it. So we've got this nice welcoming party, as it were. Captain in the middle, flanked by his 3 officers and a civilian. You may be feeling, you determine how you two are feeling after the events in the medical bay. It's been probably about 15 minutes since that happened, so it's still relatively fresh. But as the doors open, a surprisingly, I don't want to say short. She's maybe 5'3". Not a really tall woman. She is wearing this long, sort of flowing, sort of priest-like robes that show a little bit more leg than you might have been anticipating, dare I say. All right. And the first officer is on the bridge, so he's not going to make any comments, because he might, but he doesn't. That old sly hound dog. But she steps forward, and there is this hesitation in each of her steps. And as she walks forward, she seems to move with a kind of, almost as though she is like gliding. Like, if you've ever seen someone who is a very practiced martial artist, most people, when they walk, they bob up and down. So you can tell if they're about to move towards you, there is a dip before they move forward. That's something that they teach you in martial arts, to kind of watch your opponent. A good trained martial artist will move, and their height stays the same, so you never really know where they're going. Very similar for her. But as she steps in, there's her presence. There is also a intense whiff, this sort of smell of very strong but very sweet smelling incense. And for those that are of the species that have maybe stronger senses of smell, like the Klingon, it's borderline overpowering. Like if you go into a candle store, and it's just, there's all the different smells of candles, you're just like, you get a headache. It's kind of like that. For those that are of the more human variety, it smells nice, pleasant. Like, fresh fruit or fresh cut flowers. Like, it's really nice. It's pleasant. For those that don't smell, you don't smell anything. So it is what it is. I don't know if anybody doesn't smell, but there it is.
What kind of volatile chemicals would I be picking up in the aroma?
Ooh. There it is. Spencer's Gifts. That's exactly right, Judas. So what you're picking up is, you know what? I'm gonna have you give me a check on this. Actually, I'm gonna have you give me an insight. No, reason and science. Actually, see if you can pick up what this is. That's what I'm gonna go with. Difficulty of 1. I'm gonna make it too hard.
Technically, I make it no matter what because I get +1 to reason.
Oh, perfect. Then you make it. So just roll to see if you get extra mobus momentum or a complication. Complication. Your brain explodes. Make a new character. I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. It's terrible. Perfect. 2 more momentum.
Hell of a
That's
complication.
great. Look at that guy.
I'll buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for
Done
$1.
momentum.
It's fantastic. There's a fungus. There's a kind of like a mushroomy kind of smell to it. And you're picking up psychotropic qualities.
Mm.
Do with that as you see fit. But she glides in. She is very careful as she moves in. Though she glides, each step is very slow. There is a nervousness to her. Her hands kind of clasp in front of herself like such, just in front of her chest. She looks left, she looks right, as though expecting something. Perhaps expecting trick, a trap. There is a tenseness to her. Her eyes lock on no one, but look at the walls, the lights, behind you. She looks at everyone's feet first, then their knees, and sort of does a crisscross applesauce up. And as she pivots left, right, left, she comes center. She's looking directly at your solar plexus. And then her eyes slowly raise up to meet yours, Captain. There is a feeling, Captain, of familiarity. And I said that word wrong because words are hard. She's very familiar. I feel like you know her. It's weird. Just kind of feel like you know her. And you feel this sort of deep desire. And you can do with this as you see fit. I'm just describing the sensations you're feeling to protect her.
I mean, he is the captain in an episode of Star Trek.
Just saying.
No, I'm more Picard.
That's Kirk.
I love Captain Kirk.
He's the best. But she looks at you and she simply says, "So perhaps I was not mistaken in trusting you, Captain."
Priestess, welcome aboard the USS Erebus on behalf of myself and my senior staff, and you have nothing to fear from us, I assure you.
Sort of scrunches her lips together, making them very thin. They almost disappear as she kind of bites on them. Everyone has something to fear from everyone. It is whether or not those we fear choose to act. This gives you a very sort of like lipless smile.
In our experience, fear is based in a lack of understanding. That is why we're out here, to understand.
And I hope I can help you to do so, Captain.
Of course, I'm sure everybody has questions for you. If you'd like, we can begin with a brief tour of the ship and then to the observation lounge.
She strides forward again, this sort of like swanned over the lake kind of style, kind of gliding towards you, and she gets like right up next to the captain, very quickly. It's not aggressive. Perhaps Lieutenant Phelan is like, "Whoa, hey now." She gets very close, like mere inches from you. And how tall is the captain?
He is not terribly tall, actually.
How much taller or shorter than 5'2" is he?
Oh gosh, he's let's call him 5'10".
Cool. So she's about 6 inches shorter than you. So she glides right up, looking at you, looks up at you, doe eyes, says, "Very much like that, Captain." And she like offers her hand to you, like to guide her.
And I think instead of the like, oh geez, this could be a cultural thing too.
Make your decisions.
I think what he'll do is just the sort of like sweeping arm gesture towards the door and just like place a hand on her shoulder and sort of guide her forward a little bit.
She slightly tilts her head to the side as though not offended, but curious in that. And so she then looks to Lieutenant Phelan. How tall is Lieutenant Phelan?
He's a good 6.5.
So full like foot and a half almost tall.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. She then walks up and looks at him in a very similar way. Perhaps this one would guide me then.
Phelan is having like the exact opposite vibe. Like the doe-eyed, please help me. Like for Klingon, this is
an ambush predator.
This is either something so pitiful that it's not worth my time.
Put it down.
Or setting up a trap. So he's kind of just He doesn't like, shoo her off or anything, but he just kind of cold shoulders.
So you got his arms crossed like this?
Yeah.
You feel her hand
straight warfing him.
Goes like up under your arm and grabs onto it.
So she's like
kind of like one of those, and then does this and says, and just looks up doe-eyed and says, "Lead the way, sir."
Someone come before you.
Does she call him Mr. Woof?
She just says, "Lead the way, sir." What?
As they go out, I hold the doctor, just kind of like hold my hand out for the doctor.
Yeah.
You're not doing this too, are you?
No, just like a hold on, I need to talk to you.
The behavior.
Yeah.
Another smack is in order.
Ooh.
No. Okay, go ahead.
And then as they leave the shuttle bay, he says quietly to her, do you feel any psychedelic effects from her presence?
GM, do I?
I need you to roll me a fitness medicine. For now, the difficulty of 1.
Can I have toxicology for my...
Absolutely.
Cool.
It's not toxic, it's medicine, man.
I got it.
Cool. You're Captain Momentum, and you have 1 floating momentum. Actually, no. You're just Captain Momentum.
Just Captain Momentum, yeah.
I can do math.
No cap.
No cap. You feel fine.
No.
I need everyone else to make the same check for me, please.
Me too?
Except for the android.
Are you okay, Lieutenant Commander?
Oh, I'm quite well. But I detected uh the spores
Good.
of psychedelic mushrooms
Good.
uh from her presence. Um, it would
Good.
be, I believe it would behoove us to watch out for it and to inform the captain but when we're not in direct contact with her.
I agree. My team is ready for emergency quarantine if need be, but I don't feel any effects.
Excellent. Well, I shall watch out for all of you.
And as he says that, the two of you walk away. We are seen right before our quick 10-minute intermission is we look back to the doors of the little entryway, and we see a tiny little sort of purpley green spore sort of settled down on the floor. And you ever seen like mold and mushrooms growing like in carpet?
Fortunately, no.
Yeah. Well, it starts to kind of sprout up. You see this little spore sprout up as you two exit out. That's where we're gonna end our first part of this week's episode. And we will be back here in about 10 minutes. So stick around, stick with us, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this crew. But until then, go get some drinks, get some water, use the restroom, and we'll be back with more Star Trek Erebus here early. All right. Good night, everybody. Drew, your camera's off, but it's fine.
I know. I'm working on it.
Don't worry about it.
Executive producer Gene Roddenberry.
Executive producer Aaron Harrison, the Aaron Master. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to our second part of episode 2, Fire for Effect, starring these cool people. We have been interacting with a strange blue alien priestess lady. Who is apparently of the Novot, N-O-V-O-T. Her name is Inari, or maybe it was Inari and she's of the Novot.
Her name is Novot. She's the last
maybe
of the RNA.
Maybe it's Novot and Inari. I don't know. It's weird. We're not sure yet. Things are starting to seem a little crazy. You're starting to see some weird colors occasionally. Maybe not. It's fine.
Nope.
But her name's Inari. So you guys have done a really nice tour of the ship, and most of the time she was like hanging on to Lieutenant Phelan. And I'm curious, Lieutenant Phelan, how did you react to that? Now, it wasn't like she's not fawning over you. She's not like caressing your arm. She just took your arm, held onto it like she wanted to be led, like she needed someone to guide her. It felt more formal than like she's not coming on to you.
Right. Phelan will do his job, but the entire time he's basically just looking around for anyone's like, please help me with this.
Please help me.
This is not what I'm here for.
She asked very few questions, but any information that was offered, she readily leaned into and just absorbed and oohed and ahhed.
Phelan, being the tactical officer and being a Klingon at heart, is kind of like showing if he's leading her around the tour, and he is showing her the parts of the ship that he finds the most interesting, mostly the weapon systems and the armory and the barracks. And pointing out, well, yes, the Regent class is a derivative of the Federation Sovereign class. This one is more primarily geared towards combat. That we've basically just showed up in a big, gigantic warship.
We come in peace. Here's our guns.
Yeah.
And I think at that the captain would
old school Federation gunboat diplomacy.
That's right. Hey, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Meet exciting people and blow them up.
But I think at that the captain would say, we possess defensive capabilities, but the ship's primary mission is not conflict.
And of course, there are some in the Federation who would contend that those two missions are incompatible.
It is a marvelous bit of self-deception, I believe.
Mention of incompatible. Speaking. Mostly, sort of, sometimes. She would actually, you guys are entering into the observation deck. Now, is it cleared out? Did you clear it out for her? Cleared out.
Yeah.
Bunch of grumpy.
Well, no, but people don't hang out in here.
Bunch of grumpy lower deckers. I'm just kidding. That's funny. All right, so you go to the observation deck, and you have a nice sitting area. Sit down. And she looks out. You fail English? That's impossible. That's a great Simpsons. Anyway, so Simpsons did it. All right. But she looks out onto the debris field, and for the first time she actually lets go of Lieutenant Phelan's head. And she's been holding on to your arm for like 2 hours. Just like a surprisingly strong grip, all things considered. You know, maybe you tried to move away and she just moved with you, just gliding with you. It's a whole thing. But she kind
of like raise my arm up. She just does pull-ups.
Yeah, she just does it. But she lets go and she moves over to the large observation window. Right, you can see the debris field. Ship is sort of in like a distant orbit of the debris field. I'm assuming you didn't command them to move closer while you're entertaining a guest. And she looks out at it, and very thoughtful and somewhat pensive stare out towards it. Lieutenant Phelan, you mentioned something about self-deception. And
Yeah.
Mr. Shaz, you mentioned peace and war, the exploration and defending oneself. They were incompatible. No?
I think that it's a good deal more sociologically complex than that, but in essence, yes. There are two competing philosophies.
Turns back to Lieutenant Phelan. What are your thoughts, Lieutenant Phelan?
Well, I suppose I should provide a bit of context. I am not originally from the Federation. I come from a rival nation, which had been in conflict with the Federation multiple times. When we first encountered the Federation, they identified themselves as explorers and as diplomats. We are a warrior nation, my people, the Klingon Empire. At the time, we dismissed them as a power to be easily conquered. Within the first 5 years of our initial conflict, they began producing ships capable of meeting our best battlecruisers. I believe this self-deception on their part is what makes the Federation dangerously capable. That they will go to great lengths to achieve whatever goal they have in mind because they believe that it is in the name of some higher ideal.
What do you believe, Lieutenant?
I believe that the Federation has proven itself quite worthy. They have a saying that to secure peace is to prepare for war, and the Federation excels at both.
She ponders that.
There's also another more recent saying, at least for many of the member worlds of the Federation: infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
The two planets you see turns back to the view, large viewing. Oceans to the right being the more industrial planet, left being the one that appears to achieve some sort of warp capability. These two planets, they were different peoples, yet closely related, having, by some miracle, developed simultaneously yet apart. Motions to the right, planet Is and planet Atea. Right being less industrial, left being capable. Perhaps if they had thought as your Federation does, then she motions forward to the debris field. What transpired could have been avoided. In this moment, I want each of you, what is your character's favorite smell? I want you to think about, do they like, is it food? Is it freshly pressed clothing? Is it nature? What is your character's favorite smell? I'm going to go one by one. Think about it. Just off the cuff. Shots. Favorite smell.
It was the odor of the forest outside of his childhood home that he spent time in.
Smell that intensely. Captain.
The slight smell of ozone from a freshly purged sensor array.
Boom. Instantaneous. Intense. Very, very powerful. Same question for you, Flitz. You know smells. What's your favorite, like, does he have one? I'm curious. You're an android. What's his favorite, like, I don't know, chemical composition? Does he have?
Yes, biologicals actually do get a smell about them when they're happy.
Ooh.
And it's nice to know sometimes.
You are getting that smell off of everyone around you. You're getting that. Lieutenant Phelan, same question.
I believe his favorite would be
blood of his enemies.
Well, it's the smell of a roasted what's it, a gotchère, a sort of basically goat that his family would serve on like festival holidays.
Okay.
And that just
powerful.
That very spicy, meaty smell.
Powerful aroma of that. Like the most intense, like it's literally like you maybe you even growl a little bit. I don't know. Finally, Commander Stern, what's yours?
Fresh baked bread.
The freshest, bakiest bread that you've ever smelled. Like fresh out of the oven, a little bit of rosemary in it, like just delicious.
My
Just
mom used to make it.
hits you like a hurricane, right? Rocks your world. Okay. I need everyone. Give me a fitness medicine. Difficulty of 2. Difficulty of 2, except for Commander Fitz.
Fitness medicine up my nose.
I'm going to buy a third die with a wisdom, if that's all right with everyone.
I think you're a coward.
Go for it.
Oh, I am. Yes. Actually, no, I'm a pacifist. It's a value.
Fair enough.
Hiya.
Fantastic.
What did I do? Oh, I messed up.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Get ready, Shaz, to begin a dripping of balls.
Fantastic.
I used up all my good rolls in the first half. It's okay.
All right.
No.
All right. I'm going to give you guys something to work with. Shaz, you have the smell of the forest. For a moment, you feel psychically as though you're standing in the forest. A moment later, that sensation gone. Like it's like you are it's like imagine you're hugging someone that you deeply care about, and as you're hugging them, they just Jedi disappear. Gone. There's this feeling of emptiness. You just feel really sad. Not like angry, you're gonna go punch somebody, but you just feel really sad. And as you look around the room, eyes lock on, your psychic eyes, your psychic eyes see, your psychic connection locks on to Lieutenant Commander Stern.
Oh no.
And you can't quite explain it, but you feel like she took that forest away. She's the problem. It's her. She's the problem. It's her. Lieutenant Commander Stern, you smell this fresh baked bread. In fact, for a moment, on the big conference table and the observation deck, you see fresh baked bread. In fact, you're like, oh my God, that looks delicious. I want it. And then you see that stupid little fucking blue alien with his little antenna complaining about his headaches come over and like a cat just bat it away and just look at you like a cat and just be like, what? And you feel a little pissed off about it, probably. All right? Meanwhile, the blue alien, you two that are not affected, is looking at the two of them, and there's this, like, slight, mischievous grin. Like, just a little, like a little, like a play, like, almost like childlike. Like, this little, like, for a moment. And then she goes back to being that, like, sage, you know, long, slit up, lots of leg. Just like, you know, kind of like does a little tilt.
like 5 or 6 legs.
Just one, just two, just one leg, a single leg. She hops around. It's weird.
30 goddamn legs.
Just one leg.
That's why she's holding on to Phelan. She's
Correct. She's
hopping.
like, yeah, just one leg. No, 2 legs.
A pogo stick.
But she's watching, and she just kind of like turns slowly as she does this, and she watches the two of them. Small smirk for a moment, and then she says nothing. And I want to give the two of you a moment to get mad at each other. So you take this as you see fit. Run with the scene. This is yours. Captain, Commander Flitz, Phelan, you guys are fine.
What are you looking at?
Looking at a Starfleet doctor, which is a contradiction in terms.
You think you're such a man of big words.
Man of principles, at least.
I'm happy to sedate you again right here, right now.
Oh, yes, you'd love that, wouldn't you? The power you get to inflict on other people. That's why you became a Starfleet doctor, of course.
I'm gonna step closer to him.
Violence,
Stern,
of course.
Dr. Cathane. Is everything all right?
Wait a minute. Who is he playing?
What?
Out of character.
Matthew's
Out of
playing
character.
Shas.
Oh, okay. Okay. You said
Chithane,
Cathane. I was
but
like,
yeah.
who's that?
Chithane. I'm sorry.
Sheen Shafor,
Emphasis on the cheen and the
No, I
four.
just legitimately didn't know who
not a
that was
problem.
because I didn't know the last name. So I was like, is this not?
Chithane.
No,
Okay.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You guys are doing
Okay.
great. Run with it. Run with it. You're doing great.
Pretend I said the right name.
They took everything from me. I'm not going to let you do the same.
Starfleet doctors took my eyes from me.
My entire colony was taken from me. I
So
will
is that
grab.
why-
I will grab his collar.
As the two of them get close to each other and she grabs the collar, the priestess starts to like hum, and then very quietly starts to like, there's just this like, you know that whispering you heard earlier, Shaz? It sounds like as she starts to hum, you and Lieutenant Commander Stern start to hear that whispering. But instead of the whispering being far off distant with a rag over their face and a box, it's really close. And it's just egging you on. It's egging you on. It's saying it's their fault. And it's not one voice. It sounds kind of like the Borg. Like the multiple voices at the same time. It's his fault, her fault, his fault, his fault. It's her fault, her fault, his fault, her fault. She took your eyes. He destroyed your colony. Kill him. Do it.
As
Do
soon
it
as she
now.
steps up to grab his collar,
Yeah.
Flitz is gonna just intercede in between the two of them.
Love that.
Stern has gone into full fight or flight right now.
Love that.
You can batter away at me. Good luck.
Oh, I can. I mean, I don't know. I think it's single focus, but she's like,
No,
you know,
it's fine. I'm just saying he's interposing himself in between the
Okay.
two of you.
Cool.
There is a
And-
proper time and place for this. I will arrange ritual combat on the record.
For the moment, Lieutenant Phelan, would you please restrain Mr. Chithane?
Very well.
All right.
Captain,
As
Commander.
this is going on, the priestess has pivoted around and is now standing right next to the captain. Captain, you've been distracted by your two officers at each other's necks.
Mhm.
They've been now separated, but they're still angry at each other. All right. She leans down next to you. Your hand, are they up? Are they down? Is one on the table? Where are your hands?
I think one would be on the table. The other, he's right hand dominant, so the other would be like in mid gesture for Phelan to restrain Shas.
As you are distracted with them, left hand, right hand on the table, you feel her hand like touch the back of your arm and slide forward and like grab onto your hand.
Can I spend a point of determination to rush over there as soon as I see her move to touch him?
I'm gonna say you're gonna roll for it. You're gonna roll a fitness security. I'm gonna spend 3 determination. And this is gonna be a difficulty 4 check. Because you were also I'm gonna say it's this difficult because you were already holding back one of the 2 officers. You had interposed yourself between them, right? So you're far away from them. She does this. Go ahead. So you can do it, but you gotta dive over the table to make it happen. All right?
We have a ton of momentum.
So much.
Yeah, I was gonna use 3 to get a +2.
I mean, you could also let the captain deal with it.
Yeah, but I'm immune to her, and I want to get in there. And the captain doesn't technically know that anything's happening.
Sure doesn't.
So
why is this person touching me? I don't like to be touched.
I'm sorry, what did we say? It was fitness and security?
Yeah.
Okay. I am good at one and not at the other.
That should mean you're average at both. When you buy your powers combined. Let's go.
I don't think I have a focus for this.
Probably not.
Let's go.
I think you have a security of 1, so.
I do.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
It's
so close, yet so far away. Oh no! Oh no! All right. So Flitz.
Okay, we get a momentum back.
Perfect. Flitz.
Sweet.
You go to dive over the table, but before you can, her hand has interlaced with his. Captain, you find yourself no longer in the conference room, in the observation deck. You instead find yourself in the middle of the best way to describe it is a Fallout-style city. Ashes, burned ruins, crashed ships, skeletons everywhere. Standing next to you is this blue alien woman. She has that same doe-eyed look on her face. And she still has her hand, but instead of clasping, she's now holding your hand, hand in hand together. And she is looking out upon the waste around her. And I want you to imagine just skeletal bodies everywhere, still some smoldering ruin. And she just slowly looks over to you as though she is expecting you to say something.
What is this?
This is all that remains. All that remains because it is all that should remain. There is beauty in simplicity. Life is complicated. Ever so complicated, and thus must be simplified, should it not? Your officer, this Lieutenant Phelan, he mentioned there was a kind of duality. your own federation. You seek to explore, yet you prepare to defend yourselves. If you truly wish to be an explorer, why not just explore? If you truly wished to be a defender, why not simply destroy everything to prevent having to defend yourself? You are complicated. Just as these two people were complicated, and I made it simple. We destroyed each other. And now I watch over the remains. The simple remains. There is no more war. There is no more conflict. There is no more hatred. There is no more fear, no more regret. Is
very true. No more fear, no more regret, no more joy, no more knowledge, no more life. E to pi I plus 1 equals 0.
Miles. Simplicity. Beauty. Bit of everything. Most important numbers. I found it fitting. A fitting memory of the chaos and what now remains.
What are your intentions towards my ship?
Simplicity. Your crew is filled with pain. Your man of science, this Shah's, struggles with his hatred, the very duration he now works with. Your Commander Stern is filled with the anger of the loss she faced. Lieutenant Phelan struggles between two cultures, his own and the one he now serves. You, Captain, you fear killing your crew. But if they are at peace, Captain, you cannot fail.
The peace that you offer is the peace of the grave. There's no chance for growth. There's no chance to move beyond the pettiness of our pain. There's no chance to use that as a catalyst to become what we all of us have it in us to be.
The grip on your hand tightens slightly, Captain. Not painful, but like there is a moment where she seems to be considering what you're saying. There was one of the people here that you remind me of. She gets this sort of fond memory grin. She's remembering something. Her eyes get small and she kind of grins. She was, well, the people called her the Prophetess. A woman of thought and philosophy. The people saw her as a prophet, but she saw herself as a dreamer. Are you a dreamer, Captain?
I think anyone that wears this uniform could be considered such.
I had a similar conversation with her. And she convinced me to give them a chance to try. But it was mere hours after I departed her was murdered. Murdered because she spoke of hope. Why should you be any different?
This prophetess, when she was murdered, was she alone?
No.
And her ideas, did they threaten the status quo?
Did.
Then I can't guarantee you that I'll be any different or end up any better off than she was. I may very well die out here. My entire crew may very well die out here, but we chose to try. Because endeavor is what matters, not outcome. Effort, not success.
Presence, command, difficulty of 4.
Okay. I'm gonna sell you on something here.
Go on.
I have a talent called Diffuse the Tension.
Love it.
If I attempt a task to persuade somebody not to resort to violence, like killing my entire crew.
I don't know if that's considered violence. She's just putting you to rest. You'll never feel pain anymore. His headaches will be gone. She won't miss her family anymore.
Sure.
Lieutenant Phelan's not going to be angry or have to deal with the first officer trying to make him laugh. Like, it's a win-win for everybody.
That's a yeah. All right. I'm gonna get to use it. I'm gonna get to add a bonus D20 to my die pool.
Love that journey for you.
And I am, since I get a bonus D20, I'm going to spend. Matthew, do I have to spend the 3 to get an additional D20 because we've already got 1, or 2?
It would be 2. Okay. You also have your point of determination because you got that back from veteran.
I do. Yep. So I'm gonna. Yeah, I feel like this is probably a clutch roll. I'm gonna spend the 2 to get an extra 1.
I mean, it could be a real short campaign. We'll see.
And I am going to.
Hey guys, how was your Friday night Star Trek game? Good. We played 2 sessions and we're dead.
And I am going to spend that point of determination again by tapping a value. Challenges define us.
In that case, because you're buying the 2 extra dice, 1 from your talent, it would be 3 momentum.
Be so, yeah.
Or you could save that determination for a reroll.
I could. You present very good alternatives. But I may be able to get us some momentum on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and roll. I'm going to go ahead and roll the 4 dice with 2 automatic successes.
Love that journey. I'm so nervous.
Presence, command, or D20. Can I use my focus on diplomacy?
Absolutely. Let's go. He did
2,
it.
3, 4,
Let's
5,
go.
6.
Nice.
There we go.
The tight grip, not painful, but tight grip on your hand softens. And there's this sort of like that feeling like when you're on a roller coaster and you go over the edge and like you feel the drop, like you feel that, and it's like you kind of feel yourself start, and you find yourself once again sitting in the observation deck. All right, and you feel for a moment the hand in your hand. You see Flitz like stumble and fall onto the table, trying to like, I don't know, is it the first officer #1 jump over the thing? No, wharf jump. It's the wharf jump. Trying to wharf jump. Which you're totally getting into Lieutenant Phelan's lane, so back off. All right.
Yeah.
But I digress. All right. But he wharf jumps.
Only one of us can protect.
And as you go back, Commander Stern and Shaz, you are Commander Stern. You guys are suddenly not angry at each other, but still like grabbing. And Captain Isha, you look at where the hand was, and laying across your hand is the stem and the flower part of like a really alien but very pretty looking flower. Just laying there. All right, just laying there, and it smells like ozone. This is the best way to describe it. It kind of smells like ozone. The alien, blue weird alien, is nowhere to be seen. She is no longer next to you. She is just gone. And you get a chirp, your comm badge. First officer to the captain. What the hell is going on, sir? I've got broken noses. I have broken lips, broken arm. We were trying to kill each other not only a few minutes ago. Okay, well, is everybody all right, sir?
We should be fine, Commander, but perhaps we should set up an emergency triage for the minor injuries in the mess hall.
Triage, right. Is Lieutenant Commander Stern with you?
She is.
She asked about me.
No, Commander.
That's good. That's fine. Would she? All right, cool. All right, I will be setting up triage, sir. Right. Did Lieutenant Phelan laugh at all?
No, Commander.
Good. It's good. Good. Why would he? I wasn't there to tell a joke. All right, cool.
And,
first officer. Yes, sir. Yes, sorry.
And Commander,
yes.
Before you go.
Yeah.
Can you please run a scan for our guest?
A guest.
With the internal sensors.
Oh, yes, sir. Sir, the shuttle that docked with its... Sir, it's gone.
Well, perform a long-range scan, but I don't expect us to find anything.
Right away, sir. Anything else?
No, that'll be all, Commander.
Sir. Trips out. And I want to give you guys some time here in the observation deck to, like, talk about what just happened.
Once again, are we immediately just okay again, or are we still shaking off the effects?
Shaking off the effects a little bit, but you don't feel the intense urge. It's like coming down off of, like, either being drunk or high or, I don't know, just, like, really fired up about something and you're, like, chilling off.
Can't relate to either.
Is the
You've never been mad?
fungus alien still in the room with us?
Or high?
You've never been mad or high? That's
Drunk or high?
I
No.
said mad. I said mad.
That's not what I heard.
I added mad. Coming down off of like being really upset about something.
Apparently, I have been gaslit. However,
What if?
Yeah, apparently.
Jesus, I'm sorry. All right, I'm trying here. All right. Look, if you guys were just cooler, it'd be easier to direct you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
The captain is going to go over to the replicator in the observation lounge.
He's
And
got sweaty hands. I just saw that.
Yeah.
Dude, you're funny. Well played.
And he's going to replicate a pitcher of water for the flower.
You put it in there?
Yeah.
You put like the flower in it?
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a rose. Judas just gave you guys another momentum. Judas is the man. I want you to imagine a rose that's like coiled up.
Mm-hmm.
And as you put it in the water, it blooms. And as it blooms, what are your favorite colors? Because it's like, imagine like it's just like a white flower, like it's like colorless, like just a white.
Mhm.
It blooms, and the inside is what?
Can it be patterned off the most beautiful thing he's ever seen?
Anything you can imagine.
Blue and green, Earth from orbit.
Love that. That's exactly what it looks like. And it gives off a really like calming smell. Whatever you guys think is calming, right?
So is it different for everybody?
Yeah, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Why does that flower
He'll
smell
just-
like burning meat?
I love you with that, Phelan. You're the man. You're so good.
I'm going to let go of Shaz's collar and like literally shake it off and go and just brace myself or kind of prop myself up against the nearest wall and just distance from everyone.
Is everyone all right?
What happened, Captain?
A case for the irrational. A case for the contradictory over the simplified. A case for living over dying.
It seems a really rather overly poetic way of saying that some kind of psionic alien was influencing the crew, for reasons, for us at least, that are unknown.
She certainly used spores to do it.
Should we destroy it? Like, I'll go ahead and pull out my phaser.
I don't think that will be necessary, but I'll have Dr. Shathane and Commander Stern make that determination.
Badge chirps. Captain. First officer again.
Go ahead.
Commander Ulrich here, sir. We've discovered a large organic asteroid, sir. It seems to be orbiting on a relatively close to the sun, sir. It's reading similarly to the way it's similar to the chip we picked up, sir. Did we investigate?
Captain, if I may, I would recommend against that. In fact, I think we should leave this system behind and drop a warning buoy at its outskirts.
I agree. Shas. Commander, bring us about. I hit warp 2, drop a warning buoy on a universal transponder, warning other vessels away from this area.
Anything else, sir, other than just the warning?
Send a subspace message to the object orbiting the planet. I'm not sure if it'll reach it, but simply say goodbye.
As you command, sir. Aye, aye. And warning buoy is dropped. Who watches the ship its warp, exits the system. And I'd like to take a little bit of time here I'd like to follow each of you after these events. And I'd like you to take, as I've been asking, a little bit of creative license here. There were some intense feelings. There were some emotions. There were some moments. I'd like to know what you guys do as the ship moves away. What do you busy yourselves with? I want to start with Lieutenant Phelan. Now, you never were under the effect. You smelt some things. You had a weird moment with this creature, this person. What do you busy yourself with, Lieutenant Commander Phelan?
Phelan, I think, is, well, he was never overcome by the psionic effects. I do think he at least felt some of them. So he is going to actually go to the recreation deck, to like the gym, and start just working, like blowing off steam, having basically the replicator set up just like a big punching bag, and just start.
As you are wailing on that punching bag, one of the younger officers, Lieutenant Leonard Jenkins, he is also in the gym, and he notices you just wailing on that bag, and he's like just doing some like bicep curls, just like popping some iron, but he's doing some bicep curls, and he just looks over, and his expression says like, "Do you want to talk about it?" And I'm curious, does Lieutenant Phelan, does he like give him the like, yeah, I want to talk about it, or does he tell him to go fuck off? That's what I want to know.
I think in this moment, he's going to take a breath, and he's basically going to say what he couldn't really say to the captain.
Jenkins walks over and offers you a water bottle because he sees that you're like opening up. He's like, "Water, sir?"
I take the water. Have you heard the old story of the hunter in the dark woods?
Maybe.
There is a hunter who goes into the dark woods to provide for his family. The first day, he hears a rustle in the bushes next to him. Fearing that it is a savage beast, he raises his weapon and fires. He discovers to his horror that he had not killed a vicious beast, but in fact had killed an innocent child. He is distraught by this and goes home to be comforted by his family. The next day, the hunter goes back into the woods. He hears another rustling in the bushes. This time, fearing that he would kill an innocent child, he does not raise his weapon. However, this time it is a vicious beast. It pounces on him and tears him to pieces. The hunter dies screaming, and his family starves. Do you know the moral of this story, Lieutenant?
No, sir, but I assume you're going to tell me?
The hunter was wrong in both of his choices, but only the first time did he live to regret his choice. Dismissed. And he just goes back to just
like confused, like, okay, can I have my, never mind, and just walks away, doesn't even go for it. That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Shaz, let's follow you for a moment.
Before we do that, let me ask you a question about the ship. The Enterprise D, for instance, had an arboretum. Does this ship have an arboretum, or would I have to go to the holodeck for something like that?
Want it to?
I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for it to have it, but
I think it would.
Why not?
I think the ship would have a lot of amenities to support like relaxation on a long-term mission.
I mean,
when he's going,
yeah.
Sure, go ahead. Okay.
Also useful for creating oxygen for free.
We have machines to do that for us. Who needs trees? What he's going to do then is quite slowly work his way towards his quarters. He'll enter into the Spartan living area and turn to a shelving unit, withdrawing a box that's rather ornate and inlaid with Andorian script. And as he flips it open, pausing for a moment before he does so, he then removes a small quasi-mechanical device. It's utterly alien in its orientation, but it seems quite elaborate in its decorative ornamentation. He pauses before he picks it up, staring down at this object. It's gold with some blue inlay, like a blue kind of crystalline inlay. Then, in a show of almost reverence, he slides his fingers underneath it and plucks up this small item, then makes his way towards the arboretum. Once there, he sort of meanders his way through the pathways to find a place, a rock that he can sit down under the shade of a tree. And he begins to play this almost wholly alien form of music on what is obviously revealed to be some kind of flute. As he does so, he thinks back to a childhood spent in forests like this, and then months confined to bed, where there was nothing but pain and blackness as his neural pathways were reconfigured, and the grafting of those artificial eyes that were imposed upon him by his mother took. And the only thing that comforted him was this very song that was played by his bedside.
Well stated. I have nothing to add. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let's go to Commander Stern. What do you do?
We will leave the observation deck and make her way to the triage areas and attempt to distract herself from just the flood of emotions and memories and guilt that are starting to well up within her, and so she'll distract herself with work.
So as you are distracting yourself with work, the first officer had been asked to help out, and he's assisting. He's actually has some medicine himself, not a whole lot, but he's got a little bit of medicine there. So he's helping direct and help. And do you seem distraught, or are you really good at masking your emotions? Would someone who has worked with you for, say, 6 months, on and off, would they recognize that you are distracting yourself? That is your choice as a player.
They'd probably be able to understand that the frown is not as much concentration, but of upset.
As you're working, he doesn't wear his normal smirk. He has more of a serious, concerned expression. And similar to the way that the lieutenant in the workout room came, he sort of bumps into you. You guys are working around, and he apologizes. What did you see, Doctor?
I don't want to talk about it.
He looks like he wants to protest, but instead he bites his lip, kind of sucks on his teeth. Did you need any other supplies, ma'am?
She's trying to gather her self. Apparently, like I am.
Okay, lead
and
into it.
I no, God, no.
He
Please,
lifts
listen to me, Caroline. Leave me alone.
He lifts a hand as though to comfort, pulls it back, nods his head. You need anything, and departs, letting you bury yourself in your work. Captain, where do you go off to? You're muted, as is tradition.
I think, yeah, the captain's gonna return to the bridge. But I sort of picture his scene ending a short time later when the the flower has been determined to be safe. At which point he'll take the vase into his ready room, his very Spartan ready room, and it'll be the first thing that he sets on the shelf from this mission. At that point, he'll sit down at his desk, and on his console, you'll see that he's been writing a letter, and it's addressed to Shell and Amit, his children. And as he finishes the letter, which basically speaks of his hopes for the mission, he's writing a series of letters over the course of the 5 years with the purpose of delivering them all when he returns, so that they can read how the mission has changed him. But he signs everyone the same way. All of my love, your father.
I have nothing to add. Gorgeous. Last and certainly not least, Lieutenant Commander Flit. Head off to.
He would be in main engineering.
Main engineering is somewhat sparse. There was a number of injuries down here because there's tools to be used to injure people. But luckily, she managed to keep herself together. You've got now Lieutenant, I would say. I think we said Lieutenant. Andrea
we did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Lieutenant Andrea Bronson. She is still missing an eye. Decided not to get it replaced. She thinks it looks cool. Kidding. But she's there. And she sees you come in. She offers a warm smile, and you guys get to work, and you're making some minor repairs, and she almost blurts out to you, Lieutenant Commander, can I speak freely, sir?
Always, Lieutenant.
When everyone was starting to act strange, to act scared and getting mad at one another, I found myself not. He has this like tool, and she's like working on like repairing some wiring. You think there's something wrong with me, sir? Why was it affecting everyone else and not me?
What was your experience, Lieutenant? Did you feel nothing, or did you simply not get angry?
Oh, nothing, sir. Not fear, not anger. I just felt empty.
Well, that was my experience as well, so perhaps we're alike.
Chuckles. Think I'm an android? Or maybe you're actually a human. Maybe we're both something different. Wouldn't that be weird?
Maybe, Lieutenant, we are simply ourselves. Alike and different, but the same. We are Starfleet.
That will be our final moment. Because that was a great fucking line. I don't want to ruin it. That was fantastic. So we see the two of them get back to work. She's smiling. He's an android. And the camera would pan out. We'd see the ship.
He has a little grin.
I like that. He grins a little bit. I love that. And the camera pans out. You see them working. You see the ship, a couple of decks, people getting back to their lives. And we watch as the ship moves off to its next destination. And great session, everybody. I had a great time. I hope you guys had fun. Thought you guys did really, really good.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Would there be somebody in the wherever the guest came in? Was it the shuttle bay?
Yeah.
Would they see anything growing on the ground, or
Great
is
question. No, it's
the
all gone.
mystery spore that none of us noticed gone?
It's all gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all gone. Great question. No, that's a fine question. Yeah, but as I always say at the end of every session, I don't always say this. I've said that people did shitty jobs. I've not meant it, but great job, everybody. I think you did great. I've been really leaning on you guys to like give a prompt and run with it, and you guys did fantastic today. Absolutely fantastic. This is the kind of stuff, like a little bit of psychological, a little bit of like you guys just being able to kind of like you did a good job of like being combative without actually fighting each other. And you leaned into it. Like there's a couple of these moments where like, especially like at the climactic moment there where the commander stirred, when you both failed, I was like, not again! Oh no! It's just like the dice have a story to tell. It was so perfect. You guys did a great job. But as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before we get ready to wrap up today's session, my friends?
Good game, guys.
It's a great one.
No, this was a fun one.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a couple other spots. So as I mentioned to them, you have a couple other spots. I've given them 6 prompts. We did one today, one today, and I've let them pick which one they want to do next. Maybe, who knows? I'll let them pick. As of right now, you guys, I'm going to move you guys back over to the Tau Galaxy. You haven't picked up any new locations. So you still have the original locations that you saw, okay, that you can go and explore again. All right. As you move, though, different things will pop up. So you let me know which place you want to go to next. I'll move you to that location. If something appears on the map, then I will reveal to you after session 3 what those locations are. You'll have more options to choose from. Okay, so this is, again, it's kind of like an open worldy. We're exploring. We've got, I think I have like 100, maybe close to 100. I don't know, there's a lot of different locations. Haven't determined what they all are yet, but there's a big map, big space for you to explore, lots of sessions, and it'll be fun. So again, thank you so much to the players for playing. Truly, without you guys, this is impossible. So I appreciate you taking time out of your Friday night to hang out with me and play some games. Thank you to viewers for viewing. I appreciate you guys for dropping some momentum. I didn't get any threat today, so I felt a little left out. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, it is what it is. But happy gaming, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks for session 3 of Star Trek Erebus. Till then, be well, be safe. And remember, the dice have a story to tell. We're going to find out what that story is. We'll see you next time, everybody.